welcome back to episode
22.
Yes, I was going to say 22, but I double guessed myself because I don't have a laptop in front of me. And what are we starting with?
Lucky Dip.
So that's this season's icebreaker. So if you're just tuning in because you didn't listen to episode 21, firstly, go listen to that episode. And secondly, it's basically...
We wrote some questions pre-season. And then they're random. We don't know what they are. As in, yep. And now we're going to lucky dip one per episode.
All right. You choose because I chose the last one.
Okay.
Wait, I'll hold it for you.
All right, you hold it.
And then you choose.
Cute. All right. Oh, it's yours.
What is it?
Do you believe in soulmates?
I knew this was a question that was going to come up.
This is perfect.
I was literally peeing right before this episode and I was thinking, I bet you were going to get the soulmates question today. My intuition is on point recently. I should just get a lotto ticket.
You should.
I should, but my crypto is not doing well, so I don't know.
Okay.
Anyways, do you believe in soulmates?
Yes? Question mark?
Elaborate.
I believe in multiple soulmates. I don't believe in the one.
Yeah.
Maybe I used to when I was younger.
Yeah.
And a bit more ignorant.
Yeah.
But I believe that you can have multiple soulmates. The people that you would surround yourself with for the rest of your life are your soulmates.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Because I don't believe in soulmates.
Oh, really?
No, I used to. I think when I was younger as well. Because then you'd venture into the whole twin flame era of that. So I feel like back when I was in more toxic relationships when I was younger, I used to think not Stickman, but the one before that.
You brought him up this time. Haha.
I know. Me. Oops. But yeah, the one before that, I used to be like, oh yeah, we're twin flames because we are I don't know. I think twin flames are meant to be two people that always have the same energy, but it doesn't work out. But then don't quote me on the actual definition because I don't remember.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then from that, it's soulmates. And then as I grew up and became more realistic or skeptical, I believe that there's people that you obviously have good connections with.
Yes.
And I also don't believe in the one, but that's probably the
closest
thing that I think about with soulmates. So I agree with you with what you say, but I think when everyone thinks oh, me and this person are soulmates, we're meant to be together forever.
Yeah.
That, I don't believe that at all.
Oh yeah, no. I think, well, for me, it's the soulmates is okay, you're happy to be in this person's life.
Yeah.
For a very, very long time.
Yes.
And then it's not you have to love them as your life partner, but they can be your friends, they can be your family, they can be your partner, but it's not the one.
So I actually wrote this question because of someone I work with, which Jacob will know the story because I always talk about this girl. A couple of years ago, this girl I work with, she was in a long-term relationship. And then one day we were working together with another colleague and she asked us, do you believe in soulmates? Out of nowhere. And I was like, no, why? And then she basically told us a story of how she's been in this relationship with her boyfriend at that time. And her friend, one of her male best friends, started having feelings for each other. And she was like...
Wait, her and one of her male best friends.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And then she was like, I think that man is my soulmate.
Oh.
And then I said, but what about your current boyfriend?
Oh. Okay, so she was in a relationship.
Yes. And that's why she was asking if we believe in soulmates because she felt that her male best friend is her soulmate. And then I said, that sounds like a fucking red flag.
That is for everyone involved.
You should be alone kind of red flag. Yeah. And so she was sort of using this whole soulmates thing as I guess a reason to talk herself to break up with the guy.
And then go with her friend.
Which she did.
And then?
I don't know if her and her friend are still together now. Okay. But she did break up with the guy. Right. And then I said, oh, you should be alone for a while. But that didn't last very long, obviously. So she started dating the friend.
Okay.
Because
interesting.
They're soulmates.
And
I asked her, I was like, what made you soulmates? And she was like, oh, what made you believe you're soulmates? And she said, they just are on the same page about things. They like the same hobbies. And I'm like, that's so superficial. This isn't enough for me to think that you're meant to be with this one person forever, considering you're in a relationship with someone else. And you've been in a long-term relationship. I'm in a long-term relationship. And we both know that yes, similarities are important in a relationship, but it takes more than
just your me and Vincent don't have the same hobbies.
Absolutely. Me and Jacob don't have the same hobbies, but it takes more than just similar interests to
make a relationship work.
Make a relationship
Again,
work.
that's why it's like soulmates isn't necessarily just you're meant to be your partner.
Yeah.
Like you can't use that as an excuse or a reason to be like, oh, I should be with this person because they're my soulmate. You should be with this person because you love them.
You love them and you have the same values.
Exactly.
That's
values.
Values is the thing.
Yeah. And like all the people I surround myself with, including yourself,
Yes.
we have very, very similar values.
Yes.
Yes, there's some times where there's things that aren't always aligned with everyone, but that's fine. Like you can't find a person or anyone that's like 100% aligned with you.
100%, which is like, it's not, that's
Otherwise,
why
it's just going to be boring.
I think so too.
It's just always agreeing with each other.
Yeah, you don't learn anything.
Like if me and Vincent never argued, it'd be so boring.
That's chaos. That's drama.
Well, do you want our audience to?
Yeah, do you guys believe in soulmates? And what's your definition of soulmates? That's actually a good question, I think.
Yeah.
Because people will have different definitions of soulmates. Like I think like a lot of my female friends are like my soulmates, based on your definition.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Because
And based on your definition, it doesn't exist.
yeah, 100%.
So, a lot of things happened while we were on break.
And we're only gone for a couple of months.
Yeah, and we were only gone for a couple of months. And one of that is you got engaged.
Woo! Direct eye contact with the camera. Woo!
Right there, yeah. She's hitched. She's engaged to be married.
Yay! Here's
Finally. And I have known since probably our last episode.
When was that?
In December, early December.
Okay.
I had known it was happening around the time that it happened.
Do you want to tell your side first?
Yes.
Okay.
You told Jacob, ask Marion for help.
Because, before this, Jacob was like freaking out about how he was going to propose. And I said, why don't you use people to help you? Like Marion and Matilda and Dash and
So he started a chat with me.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, if we're going to do this, she already knows that you're going to come to me. So anything that I ask her to do that's not what I normally do will be a red flag, will be a flag. She'll clock it straight away.
Of course.
So I said, why don't we get Matilda on board?
Yeah.
And we did, which is great because she was the part where, okay, if she was to ask you to do something, let's say like go to a picnic or go to a park.
Yeah, you would never ask me that.
Would be like, okay, that's fine. But if I asked you that, you'd be like, what's going on?
100%. The only thing similar to that would be you'd be like, let's go to the beach or let's go to a hike.
Yeah, and no one, I don't want.
We're not doing that for a proposal.
We're not doing that for a proposal. No. So it was just, from that moment on, it was really up to Jacob to find a time and a date to do it. But you're such a busy woman between working and living your life and recording and going on holiday.
Yes.
That we were like, when? And he found a date, which is like February 9.
Which was a month ago. Yeah,
from yesterday.
Yeah.
He found that date and we're like, okay, we'll lock it in because we're all going to just make time for it.
Yeah.
And then, so the plan was then, it was a picnic type situation. Then he had to hire a photographer. Had to hire is the key word. And then there was kind of options as to where.
Yes.
First option was, I think, Williamstown Park or whatever.
Which I actually thought he was going to do it there.
Right. So then I said, well, if Matilda's going to invite her to a park, she's not going to choose Williamstown. That's just not her vibe.
No, it's
and
also
then you would
far
clock it
from
again
her.
straight. You'd go like, wait, no, you wouldn't.
But even if she invited me to Williamstown Park, I'd just be like, oh, you want to go to the beach later? Or like beforehand? Because that's what I think Matilda and I would do normally.
Yeah. And she wouldn't be like, no, actually, no.
Yeah. So I'd be sandy and gross.
Yeah. So then Jacob then decided Carlton Gardens was the place to be, which is great. Very centre for everyone. Yeah. And then, then the day just came closer and closer, and there we were. It was just, I don't know what else. I don't know what else to describe it as.
When you got back from Malaysia, so you and I, with Jacob right next to me, spoke about how I want to get my nails done.
Oh, yeah.
Before the engagement. So when you got back from Malaysia, you started coming with me
to get your nails
like
done.
a manicure. Yeah.
The thing is, because I knew how close it was
Yeah.
from when I got back to Malaysia, I was like, I need to take her like soon.
Yeah,
Otherwise, the first time I took you would be the only time.
I did think that because when you got back from Malaysia, I was like, oh, damn, we're going to get our nails done so soon.
You also did give him a deadline.
That's true. I did give him a deadline of, like, I think it was March, end of March.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's
April at the latest.
April, because I wanted to book my wedding venue by April.
Yeah.
Because that's when I want to get married. April, but in 2 years' time.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew it was going to happen before then. I just didn't know when.
Yeah.
And I think from Jacob's perspective, so my birthday is the 13th of February.
Yes.
And we got engaged on the 9th.
Yeah.
So because it's me, Jacob, I think, was hassling me to be like, what are you doing on your birthday?
Mm-hmm.
Because it was part of planning.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to actually propose on the 15th, the week after.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, we're going away for my birthday.
Yeah. And then you were like thinking Tassie.
Yeah, so we're going to go Tassie, yeah.
And then we were like, oh, actually, that's not a bad idea. But then she would expect it. And then all your friends would tell you, oh, he's going to propose at Tasmania. So we're like, no, it has to be here before or after.
So,
but if it's before, it's even more fun.
Yeah, so that's why we actually went to Byron Bay for my birthday. And one of my friends, Jazz, who was also in on the engagement, she came up to me like a couple days, or maybe a week before we went to Byron. And she was like, ooh, what if he proposes in Byron? Obviously, like planting a seed in my head.
Yeah, of course.
And I thought, nah, like Jacob has to find a photographer there. I don't think he can find it in like 2 weeks. I literally just got my roster a couple weeks
ago. It's so hard to plan around your life.
Yeah, it's very hard. I can't even plan my life.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of the things I do are very like last minute.
Ad hoc.
Yeah, pretty much. So, anything else to add from your perspective?
No, I think it was nice getting our nails done.
Yeah.
And then I knew again the moment we got our first session, I was like, okay, it's only 2 weeks away. So I was like, let's book another one.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure how sus you would be at me pushing to book another one.
I was a bit sus because I was thinking like, oh, we're going back a week later.
If you didn't get your nails done in time, you could see the growth.
The growth,
yeah,
absolutely.
so I was like, I'm desperate to get my nails done.
Yeah, because I was thinking that. I was like, oh, I didn't think you'd be so quick to get back because I thought you'd want to save more money of $20
I know.
in between.
I did. Anyway, who cares? It was worth it in the end.
Yeah.
But Jacob kind of threw you off on that one and said, oh, no, a few more sessions.
Yes, because then after the second session, I came back and I was obviously like just joking to Jacob, but also half not joking because one of the girls at work, her boyfriend started paying for her nails to be done.
Yeah.
So that's how she knows that he's going to propose soon. So I came back after the second time I got a manicure and I was like to Jacob, how many more sessions do I need to pay for this? Because this is getting expensive unless you start subsidizing me.
Yeah, your cost was like $60.
Yes, because you got just a manicure.
Yeah, I just got the manicure.
I got like the builder gel stuff, which I have on now, but you can't really tell the color. So then everyone at work was actually also like, why'd you get blue? And I thought because I didn't think he was going to propose then. So I was going to do a pattern of like natural, then colored, then natural, then colored. So I thought, oh, maybe like in a few more times. And then I got blue nails. So all the photos, it was fine. It was just blue nails. But like all the photos of the engagement close up to my hand with the ring, my nails were like bright.
They were really nice though.
Yeah, they were very nice. But I guess, I don't know, girls always tend to go for like fucking natural nails for like, proposals. But I think like it just fit my vibe.
Yeah, and I know because you asked me what color I should get.
Yeah.
But you narrowed it down to 2 and I chose the one that I knew would look good with the ring. And it was summer.
Yeah, it's summer, exactly.
So I was like, well, it'll be a nice color.
I also did ask Jacob as well. I was like, what should my next color be? And he was like,
we all knew.
blue.
We were all just working behind like Oompa Loompas at the chocolate factory.
I know. And I had no idea. So I'll talk about it from my perspective. So I didn't think anything was going to happen that day because I think maybe a few days before Matilda called me. And I've seen Matilda a few times in the last couple of weeks because one of my best friends, Lisa, she was here from Germany. And we caught up all together. And then after we left, Matilda was like, oh, hey, let's catch up like one-on-one. So she was obviously like planting the seed as well.
Yeah.
And then she called me earlier that week saying that she'll be in the area buying flowers at this wholesaler. So she said that maybe we can go get a coffee. And I said, oh yeah, like just come over and then we'll figure it out from there. So I told Jacob, okay, on Sunday, I'm going to boxing in Fitzroy and then Matilda's coming over and we're going to have coffee with her. And like, you can do whatever you want, but I'll just hang out with Matilda. So then Matilda like messages me back and she's like, okay, let's go to the park. And I was like, yeah, let's go to Footscray Park. It's just around the corner from my house. And then she goes, oh, let me invite John. So John's one of our other friends.
Yeah.
And so in this group chat together, Matilda's like, hey, let's go get coffee together on Sunday. And John's like, I'm hosting pre-drinks for the Collingwood Pride Street Party.
Street party, yeah.
But maybe if we go somewhere closer to me, I I can come for the coffee and then we can go party together later. Yeah. So I was like, okay, but John lives in Collingwood and I'm going to Fitzroy in the morning for boxing. And so I was like, I don't want to go home. Like, go back to the west side and then come back to like Collingwood.
Yeah.
So I asked him like, hey, can we just meet earlier? Because I finished my boxing class at like 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'll meet you guys like 11 or whatever cafe this is. I'll just get changed at the gym. And then Matilda goes, oh, no, don't worry about it. I'll just pick you up. And I was thinking, okay, but how am I going to get home? So I even messaged her separately, like, thank you for the offer, but I don't know how I'm going to get home from Collingwood and I'm not going to Uber.
Yeah.
Because it's like a fucking street party.
Yeah.
The streets are closed.
Yeah.
And so it'll be expensive as well. So I was like, I'll just drive.
Yeah.
But can we just meet earlier? And then Matilda's like, don't worry, I'll drive you home. And I said, are you sure? Like, last time her and I went to John's house for a party, we both drove separately and we both left our cars there because we were too fucked up to drive home.
Yep.
So I was just thinking, oh man, I'm not going to have a way home. So I asked Jacob, I'm like, what's your movements on Sunday? Because I just knew he's going to the gym. He's like, oh, I've actually been invited to have brunch with like uni friends up in the north side because one of his friends lived there.
All lies.
So I actually, looking back at it, I was like, oh, weird that they're having brunch because the last time they all caught up, they went to one of the girls' houses for dinner and she lives in the north, like north, not like Fitzroy North. And so I was like, oh, okay, have fun. But then after your brunch, can you actually come back to Collingwood and pick me up?
Yeah.
Because then I'm like, I don't think it'll be that, like maybe like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, no, I'll do that.
Sure.
So I told Matilda, I'm like, I'll probably just go home when Jacob picks me up and we'll see how the party goes. And Matilda's like, okay, cool. So on the day, I went to boxing and I came back and then Jacob wasn't home yet from the gym. And I was like, that's weird. I've been gone for like an hour and a half. Like literally drove to Fitzroy, came back as well. And so I messaged him. I was like, oh, like when are you coming home? And he's like, oh, I'm going straight to brunch from the gym. And I was like, why? Like you live 5 minutes from my house. Why don't you just come here and get changed?
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't have time. I'm just going to go straight to brunch. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to wait for Matilda. And Matilda was meant to pick me up at 11:30. And so I messaged her at 11. I'm like, I still need to shower. So I might be like a couple minutes late.
Just pause on this. This is classic you because we were getting messages as you were telling Matilda this. And we were like, oh my God, what time is she going to get here?
Well,
because we needed you there at like 1 or something.
The big mistake Matilda made was she said, "Oh, no worries, I'll come pick you up at 12."
Yeah.
And she gave me 30 extra minutes to rot.
No.
And so rather than getting up straight away to get ready, so I'll be ready by 12, I sat there for like a good 15 minutes, just like fucking dying and rotting. And then so when Matilda came, I wasn't ready yet.
Yeah, I know. Because we got a message saying she's still getting ready. And we're like, of course she is. Of course.
And we started driving to a cafe in Carlton. Actually, side note, I forgot to mention this. Matilda chose a cafe in Carlton saying that her colleague said the cheesecake's really good there. She's always wanted to try it. So it's on Lygon Street. So I was like, whatever. That's fine. So we drove to Carlton. And as we were driving, she was playing like Black Eyed Peas. I remember this because my boxing session was also playing Black Eyed Peas the whole day. And I was like, oh, like good remix. And she's like, oh wait, listen to this song. So she grabs her phone and changes the song while she's driving.
Illegal.
But what she told me afterwards was that you guys were actually messaging her in the group chat.
Yeah.
So she was swiping her phone, hoping I don't see any notifications coming.
So I had a feeling that was going to happen.
Yeah.
But I also thought that maybe she would have put her phone on Do Not Disturb. But maybe I was just too over-prepared to think that.
I think so too, because even when Jacob said afterwards, when I'd go on his phone, he was like before the proposal, like days before, or like whatever time, he was stressed that a message from your group chat would come up.
Oh, I got messages from the group chat while we were getting our nails done.
I wouldn't have known.
No, you wouldn't. But it was popping up on my watch on the second session because it was like the day before your engagement.
Yeah.
And Matilda and Jacob were messaging the group chat, and I would do this
No idea.
and like turned it away from you because it might pop up.
Yeah.
And I did see it pop up and I was like, oh God, hopefully she didn't see that.
I didn't see anything.
I noticed you didn't notice anything. And then, just side note, when I dropped you off, you were like, oh, I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because you were like going to go to Byron and then that's when you see me. And I was like, yeah, 2 weeks. And I drove off being like, dumb bitch.
And actually, also side note, so you know how you said you guys all chose the 9th of February?
Well, Jacob had to choose
Jacob
it.
chose it, yes. Every time when I got my roster, I'd open like my calendar and Jacob told me he would like look intently to see if I planned anything else on my calendar on that day. And then like after you dropped me off when we got our nails done, I didn't know, but Jacob was like, didn't you know? I was like super cuddly. And I was like, no, I thought you just wanted to cuddle on the couch while we watched whatever we were watching. But it was because he was like, oh, it's happening tomorrow. He was getting all excited. But I didn't think any of it.
No, of course not.
Anyway, back to the cafe. So we got to the cafe and I was like, table for 3, please. And Matilda, being Matilda, was like, oh, it's such a nice day. Can we sit at the park?
Do you know why she did that?
Because the proposal was at the park?
Yes, but you guys were meant to stay at the cafe for an hour or so, but you were late. It was way too late. The photographer was there, and that's why we were messaging Matilda. Because we were like, there's no time for the coffee at the restaurant, at the cafe.
I didn't know this.
Go to the park once you get your coffee. And that's where the plan went from having like a coffee at the place, then walking to the park to having a coffee at the park while walking.
I didn't think anything of it because the backstory of this, like maybe, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, John, Matilda, and I and a couple other people went to the NGV for some exhibition. And afterwards, we all were so hungry and we were like, we need to eat. So we were like, we were actually hangry to the point where we couldn't decide what we wanted to eat. So we just went to Melbourne Central. And the plan was we'll just get whatever at the food court and then meet back at the table. But Matilda forced us all to sit in front of the State Library. She was like, it's such a nice day. Come on, guys, let's sit. Yeah. So I didn't think anything of it when she said, hey, can we go have the coffee at the park? And I actually brought it up as we were walking to the park. Because in my head, I was like, what the fuck? What park is here? Then I realized Carlton Gardens. But as we were walking to the park, I was like, this reminds me of that time we went to the NGV years ago and Matilda made such a fuss about sitting in front of the State Library because she wanted to be outside while we had lunch. And then Matilda's like, yeah, that was such a good time. Like, clearly. John was like, Matilda, lead the way. Where should we go? And then she was like, oh, maybe we'll go around up to the fountain. And so I was like, oh, yeah, let's like walk this way. And Matilda's like, oh, maybe let's walk that other way. And then she's like, there might be some spots along the way over there. And I was like, whatever. And then she was taking photos, like selfies of us. So again, not out of character for Matilda at all. No. But she was sending it to you guys.
Correct, because we weren't sure what you were wearing and what she was wearing. Yes. So we were like, can you get a selfie or something? Yeah. And she did. And then I had to look around because I was actually like probably 10, 15 meters away. Yeah. So that you wouldn't see me. But I had no idea which path you guys were taking. Yeah. So I like looked around looking for Matilda's like red skirt. Yeah. Because that was the thing that I could like notice from far away. And I didn't see it, but you guys were going the right way, which is where I wasn't. Yeah. Which is nice. Anyway, there's like a video of me. Well, there's a video of you from my phone. Yeah. Of me being like 30 meters away, but like zoomed in as you get proposed to. Oh yeah, that's right. I didn't know you were there, but I didn't see Jacob either until because basically we were walking and the camera was on me, but I was facing this way and Matilda was on the other side of John. So I saw Matilda's face go. And so I thought she saw someone she knew because like Matilda's so fucking popular in the fucking north of Melbourne. So I thought she saw someone she knew. Then I looked over and I saw Jacob standing there with like flowers and the picnic rug in front of him. And I was like, oh no, it's happening right now. Yeah. And then I got really, really shy because I was like, oh fuck, my friends are here. And I'm like, it's happening. I've got shy. And then I like walked up to Jacob and then there's a bunch of photos of me being like this and then fucking flapping to the floor, not to the floor. I was just like hiding my face. Yeah, I know. I saw from far away. Yeah. It was funny.
Yeah, I know. And Jacob thought I tripped, but I was like, no, I just really was hiding my face because I'm shy. And then the first thing I said to him was, I wish I knew because then I'd dress cuter.
And you've already known so many bits of it that it's like, we needed one thing to surprise you.
I know, but I was dressed to party in the streets with the gays. Yeah. And? And I wasn't dressed for a proposal.
No one's ever dressed for a proposal unless they know it's happening.
Oh, yeah. Some of my friends had a hunch. Yeah. But then the second thing I said to Jacob was I looked down at our picnic rug and I was like, when did you get this out of the car? My car. And then he told me that he actually got it out the car when you and I went to get a manicure the day before, because he said that if he was afraid if he took it out early, I'd notice it's gone missing, and then obviously everything will be sus. And everyone asked me, I'm like, did he have a speech? I'm like, not. I think he was so busy thinking about the logistics of things that he just asked me like the question, and we just pissed ourselves laughing.
Yeah.
And then my friends were like, John and Matilda were like filming from far away, and then they were like, I guess she said yes, because they obviously couldn't hear anything.
Yeah.
And then you popped out of the trees.
Yeah.
And then I was like, where's Vincent? Apparently Vincent was like circulating.
Yeah, he was just getting a few things.
Yeah.
And then,
Then we had a photo shoot, which I was so over. I reckon I was going to pass out during the photo shoot.
It was quite a hot day.
It was a hot day.
Yeah.
And while we were doing the photo shoot, I was like to Jacob, how did you know I had to stay off? Like, I only found out this roster like 2 weeks ago, and I actually worked last night too. And he was like, it'll all make sense later. So I was like, who'd you ask? So I was listing all these people. And then he was like, it'll all make sense later. And I was thinking later is going to my parents' house to drop the cats off.
No, there's something
there was
else
more.
before that.
So then by the time I finished photo shoot, I came back to you guys. We sat for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you guys were all like, all right, we need to go. And I was like, where are we going? And you took me to a rooftop bar.
Yes.
In Carlton.
Yes. Johnny's Green Room.
Yeah. And there was my friend Jazz and her fiance James. And I was like, this makes sense. So Jacob actually had Jazz email rostering manager to get a day off. And then we had drinks. And our cousin Mart came with Nancy.
Yeah. Oh, he was another thing I had to deal with.
Yeah. So you tell this from your perspective.
So because we were doing the drinks and Mart was obviously invited, but Mart is mummy's boy and can't seem to
keep his mouth shut.
Yeah, keep his mouth shut when it comes to telling his mum. So I told Jacob, tell him that it's her birthday.
Yes.
But just tell him to come.
Yeah, like it's
but
like a surprise.
I had a feeling because he's skimped out on so many of our birthdays.
Yeah.
That I was like, okay, I'll message him on the side and I'll just say, hey, are you turning up to the birthday? And then he goes, oh, I'll see. And then when he says he'll see, it means he's basically to know.
No,
especially because he's got 2 kids now.
Yeah.
I said, no, it's not all we'll see. I think you have to be there.
Yeah.
And he's like, why? And I'm like, it's just gonna be an important birthday for her.
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh, is she getting proposed to? And then I was like, look, I can't confirm nor deny, but there might be a diamond at the night. So just turn up. So I said, just turn up. She'll really appreciate it.
Yeah, which I did.
Yeah. And so he was like, all right, we'll make it work. And they did, which is great.
That was really nice, yeah.
But I knew that I had a feeling the moment I said to Jacob, I'll tell him that it's her birthday, because I didn't want Jacob to just tell him he was gonna propose, because I don't know if he was gonna reveal it to his mum, and then the moment he reveals it to his mum, it's game over.
It wouldn't even come from my mum. It'll just come from her.
It would just come from her, out of nowhere, out of the blue, and you'll be like, nothing's happened yet.
Yeah.
So we definitely left the invite for Mart at the latest, one of the latest ones. But yeah, it was nice having him there, and it was good. It was a nice little gathering after you got proposed to.
Yeah, I think it was very sweet, and Jacob did really well. I think from his perspective, because I was running late, he even had time to have brunch by himself.
Yeah, he was gone. I remember he messaged the group chat at 9:30 a.m. when I was making breakfast, and he was like, "Oh, I've left the house already," and I panicked because I was like, "Did I get the time wrong?" So I checked all our messages. I went back to our messages. Okay, no, it's we need to be there by 12:30, and I'm like, okay. So he's obviously just had to go early.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was nice. It was really fun. It was great being part of it. I think.
Yeah.
From my perspective, it was nice seeing you get proposed to, but it was more about the fact that we all had a little bit of part in it, and even the friends that couldn't make it to the gathering afterwards, they all still knew it was happening.
Yeah.
They were just waiting for you to kind of announce it before they start congratulating you.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was nice to see all that happen from the planning stage, then the day, and then your reaction and all that, which is wild. Anyway,
Crazy.
I mean, I think the biggest fear that everyone had was that you knew what was happening.
I had zero
Or you
idea.
would clock on it way too early for us to be like, oh no, she already knows.
No, everyone did so well.
The moment like Matilda's like, yeah, she's got no fucking idea. I was like, great, this is perfect. And then I did see what you were wearing, and I was like, okay, she has no clue, because I knew you would wear something way different than that.
If I knew.
If you knew.
100%.
And I was like, this is perfect, because she has no clue. Because she already knows what the ring looks like. She already knows that he's got it.
Yeah.
And he's bought it.
Yeah.
It's just like, and then everything after the proposal, she's going to know anyway, because she's planning it.
100%.
This is the one thing where she has no control, and it's so fun to see her not have any control over it.
Which is why I got so shy when it happened, because I was like, I have zero control over the situation.
Exactly. I had no idea.
It was the same feeling. I was telling everyone at work, it's the same feeling as when everyone sang happy birthday to me on my 29th birthday, and I just sat there, like, looking around, everyone watching me, and I was like, oh God, I'm dying. And I don't know how I'm going to survive my wedding, because that's a lot of attention on me too.
But it's one night.
It's not one night. It's like a whole 24 hours.
Yeah, that's true. yeah. It's from the morning till the end of the night.
Till the end of the night. So, but yeah, so I was really shocked. You guys did very well. I think Jacob did really well. And he was so pleased with himself.
Yeah.
That he,
as he should be. It's not easy trying to pin a date down for you and locking down all your friends and family to like commit to this date. And then I remember like a couple of days before he was like, oh my God, she might like take the day off. Like, no, call a sickie. And we're like, oh, it's fine. Even if she did, don't worry about it. But he was trying to like, oh, but then if she calls a sickie, I can't get the mat from your car.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, just don't worry about it.
Just do it. Yeah, because I'm also notorious for doing things like that.
Yeah.
But I remember, another side note, I just remembered, when we were at the picnic, I called my parents. So remember I said I called them earlier, and they were like, oh, it's just a cat. But I called my parents, and my dad picked up. But he was on a phone call. He was like on a video call with his family in America, so the camera didn't transfer to our conversation. But I was like, yay! And my dad's like, what do you mean yay? What are you yaying about? Because he obviously doesn't want to like giving it away. Yeah. But I was like, yay! And then Jacob's mum, we had dinner with them 2 nights before. Yeah. And she knew it was my birthday coming up. So for my birthday, she actually got me like a photo frame so we can put our engagement photo in it.
Right.
So she was asking Jacob, like, should I give her a present now? And Jacob was like, no. She's going to be like, what the fuck's this frame for? Yeah. Actually, it would, because I'd be like, oh, that's nice, but I don't have any photos to put in.
No, fair.
So there you go. So they were in on it. But I really, really enjoyed it. It was a nice day.
It was nice because you're very perceptive. So
100%.
we were all just like, okay, how do we keep her from knowing? And turns out you're not that perceptive. You are perceptive, but when it's not happening right under your nose, you'll just brush it off as small little things.
I think also because I was trying to not know.
Yeah, like, of course.
If I really wanted to know, I'm sure I could find...
You would have sussed it out.
I would have sussed it out hard.
Yeah.
But like, because I was obviously didn't want to ruin the surprise for myself, so I was trying to not know. And Jacob was like, he kept the ring in his locker at work for weeks because he thought I would go snooping at home. And I was like, no, I actually didn't, because I don't want to ruin the surprise for myself.
Yeah. Like, but then even if you were cleaning and then it just like showed up, you'd be like, oh no.
I don't touch his stuff because it's too messy. Like, it's actually not that messy. It's just messy compared to my standards. Like, I fold everything. Yeah. But Jacob can just like happily put it in a drawer and not look at it.
That sounds like an attack.
It is an attack. But that's his space, so I don't care. But if it was in my space, I'd be like, we got to fold that now.
Fair enough.
So yeah.
Anyway, congratulations.
Thank you.
So then it's just wedding planning, which you've actually already started. So
yeah, I feel like that's another episode.
No, it will be, because we've got to get updates from you now.
Okay, cool. But yes, I'm now 1 month into being engaged, and I'm already very deep into wedding planning.
You were deep into wedding planning 3 years before you got engaged.
No.
You were deep into wedding planning 1 year before you met Jacob.
No, I wasn't that crazy. I didn't even think I was going to get married. So I started planning like a year ago because my friends are all engaged. So you just listen and learn from them, and you start thinking, what do I want for my wedding? And then I started bookmarking or like following photographers that I like, or bookmarking places that I like. And then the moment I got the ring, I'm like, bam, let's go look at the venues. So there you go.
Yay. Congrats.
Thanks. Yay.
thanks for listening, everyone.
Thanks for listening.
You can follow us at Hazel and Marion on Instagram and TikTok. And then you can also listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Plus, season 3 is going to be on YouTube as a video and Spotify.
And
can you
Spotify
believe?
as a video.
Oh my God.
You can actually watch us.
Yeah.
Make the faces. Oh, when we do this. I can't do it right now.
No.
I can't do it as good as you.
But yes, it would be really great if you guys could like, subscribe, rate, share, comment, like, everything.
I don't know what else.
Engage. It would be great if you guys could engage, and then we could spread the word of how great we are.
Yay.
Anyway, love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.